Hello! I decided to continue my experience uh, with passing through IELTS tests, questions, and first of all, I need to find out where I stopped previous time and continue from there. But I should check my stream on working. I don't see it yet. Yes, I have it. And I even have proper name of my broadcasting. But after all, I should change depiction in my broadcasting and do something and put something more suitable. Where I stopped at previous. I got through art, birthday, childhood to clothes. Clothes, I suppose is right way. Are clothes important to you? Yes, clothes important to me, but I never spending too much money on it and buy something too expensive. I occasionally buy only chop things, chop clothes, and do it in common shops without attending something special like brand shops and so on. What kind of clothes do you usually wear? I'm usually wearing black colored clothes, and I prefer classic style without teenagers colors like green painted wear and old use it. I like only classic style, and I never waste my money on those clothes that don't like me and not suitable to my vision of how to I should how to I have to look. Do you ever wear the traditional clothes of your country? We haven't got any cultural traditional clothes, excluding a couple things which we able to see in at the theaters on spectacles, and I don't suppose that it's quite a good idea to walking through the street, walking on the street and do it be weird in traditional clothes, and it's rather complicated to do it if you decided to rise up cultural traditions like that do in Ukraine, people who cut their hairs and do and make their hairs like it was while Middle Ages, and I suppose it's quite a stupid idea to pursue such meaningless purpose to rise cultural level, which needn't at all. Where do you usually buy your clothes? I usually buy my clothes uh, as at the second hands, and also as common shops. And it's I haven't any particular shop where I buy my clothes, and if I walking on the street and notice something interesting for me, and it black colored, I with pleasure buy it without any details, because it's easy to make me happy. It's must be a simple black colored clothes in classic style. It's no more than it. Have you ever worn a uniform? Oh, I like uniform and worn it while I played in strike ball, but it have been not too long, because it's quite expensive to buy these arms and military equipment, which demand of you to spend much money on it. And if you really have decided to play strike ball, you must be ready to spend a lot of money on things which needed to do this game, especially it, arms required too much money for on it. Do most people in your country follow fashion? People in my country rather follow it fashion, but it often looked like wrong way, and it's spread too too fast for me to understand what they want to express with their dress code, especially teenagers who keep foot with those new rap singers who are weird in clothes that seems to me quite unpretty, and I prefer to avoid look at their lives and be a side of their way of their walk of life. Needs to check my chat, maybe someone left message. Oh, I'm glad to see that someone put like under my video. Thank you very much, friend. It's a pleasure to have such kind subscribers and watchers. Computers. Do you often use a computer? Oh, I use computer as often as I can, and do it whether I learn English or play games, and also watch TV serials or films, and I do it only in English because if you really decide to improve your skills, you must do it. You must change all things in your life in that language, and don't access your Russian skills from English, and there is no difference if your brain don't understand what do you want from it. It's never will follow your command and remember those things what you can learn, what you want to learn. You should prove your brain to do those things which you want, because it have to understood that it really need for you and your life, and really can improve the walk of your life and your social status. And after all, if you manage to improve your brain, that it that it's quite useful for your life. It usually help you with it, and you memorize things much more easier than you did it before. How do you usually get in line? How do you usually get online? It's what it means. What I used to be online, or I don't understand the meanings of this question. I should translate it. Give me a couple secs. How do you usually get online? It's a stupid question. I use internet as that do all people in through the world. Do you prefer desktops or laptops? I prefer desktops because it's much more convenient and comfortable for me, because computer with desktops much cheaper than laptops, and most part of my life I stay at home, excluding when I go to work or gym, and I suppose a few of laptops have such large screen, and much more convenient to look at large screen than do it with laptops. Why I prefer desktops, but laptops quite suitable when you do your work or want entertainment while you work, while you at the work, and suppose you want to get online as you do it in previous question, and it of course well colored your life when you have laptop which you able to use at your work. What do you use your computer for? I use my computer for playing games and make videos for my channel, and also for learn English, as I do right now. Whatever you want, you're able to do it using your computer, because internet open all the ways to improve whatever skills you want to improve, and it's up to you what you want to do with internet. It could be useful for you and also destructive too. Do you think it is important to learn how to use a computer? If someone succeeded in living about, for example, for example, 40 years without computer, and he don't feel need of it, and he still and he don't feel importance and need of using computers. He of course can live without it and avoid any of ways to use computer, and find and can find information by classic methods using phone or old things. I don't know what they used, maybe calculator or gramophones, but maybe such people only never tried to use computer, and don't properly understand what for it used, and what for it is using, and how it could be convenient and comfortable for life. Daily routine. When do you usually get up in the morning? I usually get up, it depends whether I work or stay at home, about 9 hours. And but if my baby start crying earlier, I forced to stay with her and trying to calm down, but and it's impossible to sleep on, because my baby starts walking around, crash things, and make a mess. Do you usually have the same routine every day? I guess I don't call it routine, but in the whole, I think I do it right. I have it in this way, because if I go to the work, I get up at 8 or 9 o'clock, cook, make a breakfast, and quite fast we're up and to go to the work, as the work. After work, I do same things that I do every day, wash dishes, and sometimes cooking something, and I never I do those things which I don't like, what I don't like. For instance, if someone invite me to visit him on holidays, I never do it because I don't like to be guest and have guests too. Be What is your daily routine? My daily routine is help my wife with looking for our child, uh, wash up the dishes, and I spending more than 2 hours on for learning English, and I managed to get through more than 6 of it, and it's too hard get through each of these books because I never only look a couple papers and close it. I parcel and do it properly, and sometimes read book more than 5 and 6 times because to memorize particular things I have to spend much more time than that do somebody of my friends, and but if I memorized something, it's lefting with me within all my life. Do you ever change your routine? I never change my routine because I completely satisfied with my life, and I don't need much to be happy, and it's quite cheaper things like books or not too expensive computer, and even if I cooking something, it never cost both than 500 rubles. For example, salad Caesar, or I also like kippa with fried potatoes, and sometimes we order it rolls, I mean sushi, but I don't like waste my money on things what I needed. Is your routine the same today as it was when you were a child? In the whole, it completely changed, but some things left the same way. For example, I also sit before computer and play games, but better to say that many things added while I growing up, and I never expected that I some that I will learn something without teachers who compelled me to do it, and I had learned Dutch and now do it with English, and I don't think I speak much more worse than I do it in Russian, because if you will watch my Russian broadcasting, you will notice that there is no more greatest means that it's there, that it here. Do you think it is important to have a daily routine? I think it much more important than that think of, I think it much more important that somebody counted, because daily routine is your disciplines and maxims, what forced you to do things what your body don't want to do, and you make it move every day, because understand if you miss another day, after all you will be left without any knowledge and improvements, and after all only only condemned who will left, it will be on it will be you, not do things for you which you have to do every day. I don't have much energy to do many things, but reading and things which I can make fast giving me easily, and I do it as often as I can. Oh, hello Raman. How are you? Do you want to play with me? Dictionaries. Do you often use a dictionary? While I'm watching one of the teachers who advise us to use dictionary without translators, I notice that it's quite bad idea, because if you for every word will be pick up after word in the dictionary, after all it will be boring for you, and you much more you I suppose you only turn it throw it out and stop your learning of English. It's quite convenient to use translators, but if you decided to do it, you should be known that you much more better for you to use more than one translator. At least you have to use 3 of them. What do you use dictionary for? I use it for to know and memorize new words which I find important for me, and dictionaries inconvenient to you because there is no particular idioms which can afford translators, and the dictionaries it's previous age, and we should to leave it behind us. What kinds of dictionaries do you think are most useful? As I said before, it's quite useful to use dictionaries that have not only words as it is, but also idioms and phrases which these words helping to construct. The words itself useless if you don't able to complicate phrases and sentences with it. Thank you, my friend Roman. How are you? When I complete my stream, I invite you to play with me. What kind of information can you find in a dictionary? I don't often open the dictionaries, but I suppose there is a lot of words, or maybe in some kinds even have phrases and idioms, but I prefer particular dictionaries which contains many phrases to help you use idioms and have known to use these words what you just memorized in speaking. Maya is completely tired, and I suppose it's time to me made a move. I'm glad you visit my stream, and I hope I can see you next time. But now I am tired a bit, and next time we will proceed to get through these topics and questions about IELTS. But now it's about time I going on. I'm going off. Roman, I will waiting you in the Discord.